Welcome to the 7 levels of moral development. You will move through these stages on your way to becoming like Christ. Christ's goal is to make you a priest of the Most High God forever. Adapting God's character is a must for every human who wants to attain this goal. As you know, humans accumulate knowledge linearly. For example, our school system has grades from 1 to 12. In our moral growth, there are 7 levels of understanding. As our knowledge progresses, we will add to each level step by step. Let's explore the 7 levels of how people have historically understood right and wrong, a perspective based on reward and punishment. Level 1, Reward and Punishment. At its core, this level of thought argues that what is considered right or wrong depends entirely on who has the power to hand out rewards or punishments. Mercy, or the choice not to punish, is often seen by those who adhere to this view as a sign of weakness rather than a moral virtue. In other words, obeying rules is less about doing what is inherently good and more about avoiding the negative consequences of disobedience. This fundamental way of thinking is not just a modern idea, it can also be seen in historical contexts. For instance, ancient Israel, during its time as slaves in Egypt, operated largely under this reward and punishment system. The people followed orders primarily because they needed to avoid harsh punishment from their taskmasters, a situation that left little room for moral deliberation or personal insight. Many who support this viewpoint also believe God demonstrates his authority by punishing those who refuse to repent. They point to early biblical events where God established his credentials as the supreme ruler by dealing with severe punishments. For example, his actions against the Egyptian gods and awe-inspiring miracles were seen as decisive proof that these deities were not truly divine and that his own rule was absolute. This level of thinking is very basic, almost instinctual. As animals, plants, and bacteria react to pain and pleasure without deep thought, this approach reduces moral decision-making to simple responses to external stimuli. In this framework, the mind takes a back seat to the immediate reactions driven by reward or fear of punishment. A clear example of this thinking is found in the satisfaction theory of atonement. According to this view, when God commands us not to do something and we disobey, our actions dishonor him. In his justice, God responds by punishing the disobedient to uphold his honor. However, instead of allowing humanity to suffer the full consequences of this divine retribution, Jesus steps in as a substitute. God's justice is satisfied through his sacrifice, preserving his honor and the moral order. By breaking down morality into these essential components, the reward and punishment framework offers a glimpse into a more primitive way of thinking, one that values obedience over reflection and instinct over reason. Whether you see this approach as a stepping stone in the evolution of moral thought or as an outdated method, it provides a fascinating look at how power dynamics and the need for order can shape our ideas of right and wrong. Subscribe and follow for more in the series, The 7 Levels of Moral Development.